Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. Welcome, everybody, to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast Show. We've got another incredible guest. This is, oh my God, this guy's like, let's create whole new universes and worlds and multiverses and new timelines and or whatever. Get on the highest timeline and activate the DNA. Let's go into the quantum. He's a really fun, creative, amazing, potent being that is going to absolutely captivate you and bring you into the energy that you really want to get into right now. He's got incredible tools and things to share with you that you'll want to take advantage of 1,000,000%, are part of the big unfoldment of awakenings happening on the planet. He's a shaker and a mover in this space, and I'm so grateful that he's here today. So grateful to have you here today, Luke.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure, Daniel, and what a nice introduction. I've got a huge smile on my face. It's so fun when people introduce you because you never know quite what they'll say, and I will take all of that you said with I'll absorb that in. That sounds so good. And yes, welcome everyone. This will be an activating podcast. My intention here is to be a vessel for the highest good of all, and so if you are open to receiving some upgrades, if you're open to taking your life to the next level, just breathe, soften, relax, enjoy. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. And I'm an open book, Daniel, so ask away. I'm here. Let's give the people what they need. And yeah, like you said, make the world an even better place. That's a big part of the mission. There's a lot of things on the earth right now that are less than optimal. And I believe those of us, maybe the ones who are listening in here, you're on the leading edge of consciousness. I believe we're here to clean up some of these messes, create new systems. And we knew when we came here that would be what we were doing, and we thought it would be fun. So strap yourself in. Let's go. Let's help each other connect, collaborate. And I believe this is one of the greatest times ever to be alive, Daniel. Call it the Great Awakening. Like, what a time to be alive. We can basically do anything, be anything, say anything, like one of the freest generations ever. And it's so wonderful to be here and to be able to share so freely.
Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free Meditate, Make Money meditation today. Absolutely. Let me tell them more about you before we dive in deeper. So, yes, Luke Scott III is a world-renowned spiritual mentor, award-winning international speaker, investigative journalist, television show host. Luke is the founder of the revolutionary quantum regression and integration therapy, Q-RIT. This is one of the most powerful modalities in the world for creating lasting transformation and upgrades in your life and the lives of your clients. Growing up in a dysfunctional family, anybody recognize this idea? Drugs and violence were a normal part of Luke's home and family life. Luke never fit into his environment. I can relate to that. Knew he was destined for much greater things. From a young age, Luke was fascinated with business, sales, and psychology. I agree. I was in the same track. And he has had many business ventures which have taught him some essentials, do's, and don'ts. Luke has spent the past 17 years studying personal development, learning secrets of how the world's most successful and most conscious people and businesses operate. He's operated big, huge teams, huge number of people he's led. I just want to say that. So this guy knows what he's talking about. After having a deep awakening experience, Luke began an intense journey to discover who he truly is and what is truly important in life. So he now travels the world sharing these secrets from stage and on videos so that others can achieve true success and happiness without having to spend 17 years or lifetimes, learning these things themselves. So today we're focused particularly on the DNA activation, the quantum regression stuff. I just got to ask, right off the bat, like, is it a bunch of hooey? And I have to just ask, this idea we're going to change our DNA. We were told, I'm kind of playing with you because I know better, but we were told that DNA is set, right? Like when we grew up, we were set, it's set. It's in your genes and that's it, and you got what you got and that's it. And we have people like Bruce Lipton come along, but wait a minute, maybe it's a bunch of Huey. That guy's just some wacky dude. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So tell us, is it really true that we can even do anything to shift our DNA and all that sort of stuff? What's this whole DNA activation really all about?
Well, firstly, I always tell people to never believe anything that I say and never believe anything that anyone says. Find your own version of the truth. So question absolutely everything. I can only tell you what my experience is. And if it resonates with you, keep it. If it doesn't, let it go. Maybe it's not for you right now. So there's a field of study called epigenetics. I am a huge geek. I love quantum physics. So I'm very left-brained, did maths and physics and love all of that stuff, and was a complete atheist, and then had this huge awakening in 2016, and then became this most incredibly connected being with these different psychic gifts and abilities. So I sit right in the middle of that. I can be with the most left-brained person and we have a great time, and I can be with someone who speaks to angels and we have a great time. It's a cool place to play. So epigenetics is a proven field of study. They have basically mapped out the entire genetic sequence of some animals, like fruit flies, for example. I don't agree with animal testing personally, but they've already done this. So they mapped out the entire genetic sequence of fruit flies. They have something called genetic snipping. So they can go and take out parts of the fly's code and it will be born without wings or eyes. And they can literally see that if they take out that code, it changes things. You can get this with babies as well. There's something called designer babies. So if you want to go to have a baby with a certain hair color or eye color or height or different things, they can literally select based on the what genetics you choose to have in the embryo. So yeah, it's a fascinating thing, but it goes way beyond just what you're born with. So epigenetics has shown and proven, again, using animal studies and human studies, the things that you consume either turn on or turn off different genetic sequences. And so, for example, with the fruit flies, again, they can change their food. They can put more or less oxygen in the environment, more or less nitrogen, right? They can change and mess with the temperature. And they do this with rats as well. And they've proven that if you do certain things, it increases their intelligence, increases their intuition, makes them heal and regenerate faster, and has a whole host of other benefits as well, like reducing diseases. So the fastest way anyone can activate your DNA, like really, really quick, I teach something called the 14-day epigenetic diet. It's 14 days, and all you have to do is have only whole foods. Zero processed foods, no junk, just whole foods, preferably organic, but that's not a prerequisite. But non-organic has pesticides and things that mess up your microbiome in your gut. So if you just go 2 weeks, whole foods only, it activates and switches on over 500 different genetic sequences. That increases your intelligence, increases your intuition, speeds up your healing abilities, and a whole host of other things. So when people start to do that, magic happens. And that's just looking at the physical side, the food. So there's loads of energetic things we can do as well. Sound is a great way to turn on or turn off your genetic sequences. Right now, as you are listening to this, the sound that you are hearing and the vibration and the energy that I'm sending out can be activating you if you allow it to. And you might get these remembrances. You might get these knowingnesses. And again, is this a load of hooey? Have you seen the videos, Daniel, where they get sand on the sound plates and you play certain sound frequencies and it makes the amazing geometric patterns, right? And Dr. Emoto did the same with water. You place certain frequencies to the water and the crystals go differently when you photograph them. But Dr. Masaru Emoto also proved that even if you just write the word on the label of the container, if you write love on the label of the container, completely different structure of the water than if you write the word hate. Mm-hmm. So as you're in a room, as you're listening to this, if your insides, if your inner feeling, if your default is hate and anger or grief or sadness, you will be dampening certain genetic sequences. So what I teach something called Q-RIT. It's called quantum regression. It's a kind of hypnotherapy modality, but without the hypnotherapy. It just takes 8 hours to learn. Anyone can do it. And once you start to clear those things from inside of you, so process the guilt, process the shame, process the hurt, traumas, whatever it is that you've got, and you literally raise your vibration, your DNA starts to switch on and activate. And so many people are weighed down by things that have happened in their past because they don't have the tools to process them. So we're on a mission to create 1 million quantum healers by 2027. So everybody can literally cure whatever is holding them back. Because when we're activated, we are powerful creators. And anyone who's listening, if this is getting you excited, let us know in the comments. If you are interested in learning how to be the most powerful creator you can be, it all starts with doing some clearing of anything that's holding you back. You don't even have to do more. Just let go of the things that are weighing you down. Your vibration raises, everything changes, and stop eating the crap.
Wow. Okay. So let's break that down a little bit more. So you talked about the 14 day, what did you call it? 14 days with the diet. What's that called again?
Epigenetic diet, yeah, or DNA activation diet.
Okay, DNA activation diet, let's call it. Okay. So you said whole foods. Now, some people, including myself, have some questions about what is a whole food exactly?
Whole food is non-processed, so it's never been processed. It's purely natural. There's an idea in the raw food movement that if something has ingredients, it's not food. So if you go to the supermarket and it has ingredients on the package, that means it's processed.
What if you take something, you put some ingredients together? How's that fit in?
Yeah, so if you are buying them as whole ingredients, so
Right.
fruit, vegetables, if you choose to eat animals, like get the organic products, right? Not the processed meats. Processed meat is classed as a carcinogen according to the World Cancer Organization. If you go to cancer.org, meat is a carcinogen. It's crazy. And I used to eat so much poison. I would eat McDonald's and KFC, and I was drinking alcohol and taking drugs and abusing myself in all of these different ways because, like I talked about on the inside, I had so much trauma and anger, and I was hurt, and I was just trying to numb myself. So when you switch on your DNA, when you start activating yourself, there's nowhere to hide. And that's very uncomfortable for some people. You have to face all of your stuff. And I call it cleaning out the spiritual closet. You just have to get your big yellow gloves on, your marigold gloves, and stick your hand down your spiritual toilet and start cleaning it out, right? Instead of just ignoring it. And I know you know about this too. So yeah, for everyone who's curious about this, one of the first steps is to just eat as naturally as possible. Anything that has processed salt, anything that has seed oils, anything that has processed sugar is non-food. And I personally am primarily fruitarian, so I mostly eat fruit, 5 years now. And one of my friends, he's called Kev Ramon. You can go check him out. He's, for the last 129 days, he's only eaten watermelon, nothing else, just watermelon. And he feels amazing. He says it's the best he's ever felt. He's strong, healthy, muscular. And we're just proving to the world what is possible when we are activated, when we're switched on, turned on, instead of numbed. And it's amazing, Daniel, the difference that you see in people.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask about diet. I could really get into, like, so how about people that are like, you need the protein, you need muscle strength. People don't live long if they get too weak, they break a hip and all this stuff. So you need to keep up your strength. So what's your response to people who are worried about protein, muscle strength, getting older, not falling, not breaking hips, things like that?
Yes, I'm a hypnotherapist by trade. And I see, since I was a child, I've been brainwashed to believe certain things. I was told you have to have milk so you have strong bones. But actually, the studies now show that the countries that drink the most milk have the weakest bones. And actually, cow's milk strips away the calcium in your bones. It's detrimental, right? So it's a crazy thing. We're taught this food pyramid where you have to eat grains and you have to eat all these different things, and it's just nonsense. And in America, it's even called the SAD diet, SAD, Standard American Diet. Right? So you're eating SAD, and what's that going to create inside you? You become what you consume. So there's a whole thing people have to do about reprogramming their beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When I first stopped drinking alcohol and when I first stopped consuming junk, I did lose about 4 stones in weight. I dropped all of this old fat, all of this old muscle. I became very skinny. And now I've built back up. I'm strong and muscly and powerful. And but it was a process. And a lot of people get scared when that happens. But here's what I was told. I have this connection to what I call my highest self. It gives me this wisdom. I channel these messages. It's a really beautiful gift that activated in 2016. And it told me that all of that old muscle tissue that I'd created, because I used to be a bodybuilder, I used to eat 2 chickens a day. I was drinking protein shakes before bed. I was doing all crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It said all of that muscle is low vibration muscle tissue.
Mm-hmm.
As you are activating yourself now and becoming more light, you have to get rid of that old muscle tissue. It won't serve you. It's going to slow you down and weigh you down. So I went down to around about 10 stones, which is like 70 kgs, something like that, 65 to 70 kgs. And I did look very, very thin. And it told me I was done. And as soon as that happened, all I was eating then was fruits, healthy things as much as possible. I started putting it back on. And now the muscle I have is high vibrational muscle tissue. So depending on how unhealthy you are right now and how inflamed you are, you might need to go through a bit of a metamorphosis, caterpillar into a butterfly. And a lot of people do see that. Once you start eating healthily, your body changes. And we have this perception in our society for some reason that if you are slim and slender and efficient, which is what I am, that there's something wrong with that. And so there's this reprogramming to do. Like, how much protein do we need? I used to eat 200 grams of protein a day. It was insane. Arnold Schwarzenegger told me I needed to. But I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't need that.
Yeah.
But what you can all do, everyone who's tuning in, remember, whatever you believe becomes your truth. So go and find people. I just typed in fruitarian bodybuilders. You find these bodybuilders, they're stacked, huge muscles. All they eat is fruit, 100% fruit. There's an amazing YouTube video people can check out. If you type in vegan strongman 1 meal a day, there's a doctor called Dr. Armin Ra. He's a world deadlifting champion. He looks like a gorilla. He's absolutely stacked. He eats 1 meal a day of 1,400 calories. That is it. He's a nutritionalist. He's a scientist. He's way bigger geek than me. And he's been now for 20 something years taking thousands of students through this protocol. They all just eat 1,400 calories a day. They put on muscle mass. They're strong, healthy, thriving. So everything we've been taught about calories and protein and what we need, it's nonsense, Daniel, primarily because we are energy beings. There are even people in the world who are breatharians.
Right.
So when I was out in Mexico, I went and I trained with a breatharian. They run workshops. They teach you how to do it. And it's
the sunlight, just taking the sunlight as your nourishment, and all kinds of things. Yeah.
Sunlight and prana. Yeah. So I've been doing fasting now for 6-7 years. Been pushing my body. I do biohacking. I try and find out how can our bodies really thrive. And there's this process that happens when you stop eating and stop drinking. You go into something called autophagy. In autophagy, your body starts breaking down the weakest cells. You become a very efficient machine. Body wants to be as efficient as possible. We have to stop eating. You have to just give yourself a rest. And so, yeah, the breatharians are fascinating because they seemingly defy what is possible. But my truth is that we live in a simulated reality. I believe that this is literally a game. And I worked in a $2 billion software company. I was a senior sales manager. So I know how computers work and coding and how games work. And our DNA is literally a code. And we know now that we can hack it. We can change the code. We can turn things on. We can turn things off. So, like, how different are we to what you see in the Matrix movie, like how Neo plays with the Matrix? I don't know how different that really is. And so, yeah, I have a lecture on my YouTube channel about simulation theory. If anyone wants to check it out, you can just type in Luke Scott simulation theory, you'll find it.
Mhm.
And whether that's true or not, what I invite everybody who's listening to is, if you can treat this life like a game, to play, to have fun, to not take things so seriously, care deeply, like get focused, really go for the things that you care about. That's a part of the game. If you want to win in a game, usually you need to be quite focused, right? And committed and be all in and put your whole heart and your soul into it and really show up passionately. That's how you do. That's how the best athletes win. That's how you win at most games, right?
Mhm.
Learn the rules of the game. I remember we had a conversation, Daniel, about Monopoly, and you said you always win, and I said, well, I always win.
How's that going to work out if we play then, right?
and, and the reason why I win at Monopoly is because I understand the game.
Right.
Most people don't understand the game, especially if you were raised in the public school system.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want the average Joe to know the rules of the game.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the more elitist schools, and if you're a part of these families that run the majority of the companies in the world, there's a handful of companies that run most of the world, and they teach their lineage and their families how to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And a great example of this is Warren Buffett, who's one of the top investors in the world, for anyone who doesn't know. He does
Mm-hmm.
these huge multi-billion-dollar deals.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, if you use your own money in a deal, you're an idiot. It's like if I'm going to raise billions of dollars for a project, I'm not going to put a penny of my own money into that.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows how to play this game where he can just raise billions
Mm-hmm.
at will. And every single one of you can learn how to do that if you're willing to learn how to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what changed for me when I started living like life is a game,
Mm-hmm.
treating myself like this computer character, like Neo in the Matrix, who can turn on and turn off different gifts and abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And once you start to play with other people, there's a lot of very gifted people out there with psychic abilities, energy healers, people who can see visions of the future. And we do past life regression with Q-RIT, and the realms and the lines between reality and what this dream state, and it becomes really blurred. It's really fun.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I agree with you. I have the same similar or the same sort of view of life. Hey, this is just a big matrix, it's a big game. How do you want to play the game? How are you guided? What's, maybe what is your soul's, sort of desire and intention in this lifetime? And maybe that can even shift. Who knows, right? Everything's possible. So we're unlimited, infinite beings, and we're having this experience. And so we can have all kinds of experiences. You want to spend the rest of your life being sad, you can play that game. If you want to be happy and be in that way, you can. So I really believe, like, people, I know this might get people a little riled up, but I really think people, I would say, like, the higher self's enjoying everything. Oh, whatever, okay, cool, at one level. Like, it's like, oh, this is very interesting, whatever's going on. Wow, we're suicidal now. Wow, we're drinking tons of booze and doing all this stuff. It's like, wow, this is very interesting. Now, you as a human may not enjoy it, but the infinite self is like, okay, cool, whatever. This is interesting. And then we have an opportunity to, decide what direction we want to go with our lives. By if we go a higher vibration, we're going to be happier. We're going to get aligned with um, more of what is going to feel good, more possibilities within this realm. So I would encourage people to go in that direction. But I do know, like, people can choose to do whatever they want. I just had a big men's group, and a guy was saying, well, I want to struggle. I want to earn it. I want to, whatever. And I'm like, that's fine. If that's what you want, play your game that way. That's fine. I'm not going to judge you. You want it that way. You want it then, because other people are saying, no, you could surrender. Look at Michael Singer, and he surrendered. He had $1 billion company and all this stuff. And
everybody's giving their examples. I'm like, yeah, whatever you want, guys. Where do you want to go? But I just know the people listening here want to go more in the direction of the expanded energy that's available to us. So that's going to be far more satisfying, I'm guessing, for the people listening in. Otherwise, you would be listening into, DNA activation. We're going to talk about the quantum and everything. And that's the direction we're being called to go in. That's what we're to lead the way for, because increasingly there's more opportunity there, and there's more opportunity to go into dense energies and all that stuff. So it's almost like, which team do you want to be on? Oh, it's like, you want to go more in that low vibration team, or do you want to go higher vibration? That's kind of how I see it. It's like you got sort of a choice. Which
Teams is a good analogy. Teams is a really good analogy. Right. Whatever sport you follow, if anyone follows sports, you can play at the professional level. And that's a very high level to play at, but you have to show up. You can only play at that level if you train hard, right? You're playing with the champions, and you have to be fully in, right? If you want to play at that level at any sport, or you can play in the amateur league if you want to, or you can play in the little league. I know you have a baseball. you can go play softball instead with your colleagues at work. If then you don't have to train at all, and we get to play like that. And I really I like that analogy that you just shared. Yeah, there's something magical in that, and you all get to decide what league you want to play in, and you get to decide what sport you want to play too. You could be a world champion drinker if you want. I did that. It was amazing. It's one of the best alcoholics you've ever seen. I was like,
oh, you're a champ.
I should write books about my exploits of how much I could drink myself into oblivion.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that delighted you. That was a whole soul journey in itself, and you'd never want to go back, probably. But it was one of those things. At that time, it was, whoa, this is the greatest thing ever at one level. But then you'd feel the misery, right? And the misery would keep being there anyway. So but another level, you're enjoying it. So that's how I see it. So now you talk about the benefits of like accessing your DNA wisdom. What's that all about? Like, what benefits do you kind of alluded to some of it already, but like, tell us more about that.
So the reason we call it quantum regression, when you start playing in the quantum realm, so quantum in physics just means the smallest observable particle. So we're talking at the energy of the level of the energy, the level of the wave, right? So you alluded earlier as well. You said that they told us our DNA is fixed, right? And a lot of scientists say it's junk. Most of your DNA is just junk, but that's just nonsense. Like I said, they've mapped out the entire genome or genetic sequences of fruit flies, and they've done that with some other organisms as well. Now, there's a lot that conventional science don't understand about our DNA. What you can do very easily, any good hypnotherapist can do this with you, but especially quantum hypnotherapists. I've got a book here which is called Life Between Lives. It's a spiritual regression modality, and it teaches you how to go in and connect to this information, because that's what the code is, that's what your DNA is, this information that's locked in there. And a lot of you know that you get traits passed down from your father and from your mother, and maybe you can recognize some traits from your grandparents, but how far back does that go? It goes back, in my experience, infinitely, all the way. Energy can never be created or destroyed, it's only transferred. So the energy that is you has existed forever. Whether you believe it's a simulation or whether you believe there was a big bang, some people believe that the metals in our body were made from stars that exploded. That's how. So we literally have stardust inside us, if you believe that model of the cosmos. Now, if you can follow the energy of that back, if you can become subtle enough to listen, this is what we do in hypnotherapy. You go into what's called the theta brainwave state. It's a very programmable brainwave state, and you can take people on these journeys. So in your DNA memories is the life experience of everything that you ever were before you were you. And I'm not saying that reincarnation is a fact. You don't have to believe that, but you were something, whether you believe you were a star or a tree or your energy came from somewhere. If you do believe that you have had multiple lifetimes before this, which actually is my personal truth, again, you don't have to believe it, because I've done so many hundreds of client sessions, and we go and we see, okay, wow, there's something here. And when you can tap into this wisdom in the quantum field, let's say you would love to have more courage in this lifetime. Somewhere in your ancestral line, there will have been a very courageous person. I know that because you're alive. So you are one of the people that survived, right? So somewhere in your ancestral line, there's a very courageous person. And when you can go and tap into their wisdom, you can bring that through into this lifetime, remember it. And there's this principle that a lot of people teach, which is you don't have to learn anything. You just have to remember it. I really like that because it's already in you. And you activate this courage and now, boom, you're in. And when people do past life regressions, they miss a lot of the juice in it because, for example, I saw this lifetime where I was a Buddhist monk. I was very calm and peaceful being. And I knew I'd done thousands of hours or tens of thousands of hours of meditation. And when you go into these visions or these experiences, it's not pretend, it feels very different. So I could be there as if it was happening right now. Maybe I invite all of you, if you're tuning in, to take a deep breath into the belly and out. See if you could bring yourself there right now in your consciousness. Feel what it would feel like to be a monk that has meditated for tens of thousands of hours. Just breathe and soften and relax and feel how peaceful they would be. So once you can feel that, once you have a little flavor of it, you can now start to train yourself to connect with that more and more and more until that becomes your default. This is using the power of the quantum field. This is literally shifting our consciousness from one place to another place. You can experience anything. So once I had this experience, I'm like, wow, somewhere in my ancestral line, I meditated for tens of thousands of hours. You bring that through into the now. So if that's something you would like to bring into the now, everyone, you can just ask your body to remember that feeling. Breathe it into your cells, breathe it into your DNA. You can connect to this energy anytime you'd like to at the start of your day or multiple times throughout the day. Bring that level of peace that a monk would have. Or you could do this with the courage of a warrior, or there's the intellect of a military strategist, or whatever it is. Somewhere in your ancestral line, there'll be someone who's incredibly wealthy. Go connect to them, tap into their wealth knowledge and bring that into your now being. It super speeds everything, Daniel, because you don't have to go spend this whole life learning it. You already have done it somewhere. Another aspect of you has, and it's phenomenal, the results. So once I did that, this meditation, Buddhist meditation, regression, my meditation practice went to the next level because I knew what peace felt like. So now you can just go back there. And you train yourself more and more and more, and you just keep feeling it and feeling it and feeling it until it becomes easier and easier and easier. This is what a lot of people think about with the law of attraction when they're visualizing, having a Lamborghini or something. And it's not, I wouldn't recommend visualizing having the Lamborghini. I would recommend visualizing and embodying, feeling what it feels like to be someone who drives a Lamborghini. Feel the feeling of that person who has enough wealth to be able to go and buy whatever car they want. Feel what that feels like to be that wealthy. That's the key, because then you can step effortlessly into the things. So I love doing DNA upgrades and activations and helping people realize how powerful they are. And again, we're just not given this information when we're young, because if we were all empowered at such a young age, I think the game would be very different. And the people who are winning the game at the moment, they don't want us to know the rules. So I'm shouting the rules from the rooftops, everyone.
Right. Yeah, that's yeah, I believe that's true. I would say I believe that's true. So wow. Yeah, I like that. I like that, you're talking about like really connecting with the energy of where you've already been, and you can bring in energy all kinds of, even if you don't think you've been there, you could still bring in the energy of Warren Buffett. You could bring in the energy of whatever the hell you want.
Absolutely. That's exactly right. And you can activate anything, because if you've ever had the experience of being in the oneness of true unity consciousness, and that was my awakening in 2016, there's just one thing. There's one energy. We're all a part of the one energy. And in the Conversations with God books by Neil Donald Walsh, she says there's just one soul. We're all a part of the one soul. We're all just different individuations of the one thing. And so, yeah, you can tap in, and I do. I connect with one of my great teachers called Wayne Dyer. He transitioned in 2015. I call him in my meditations, like, Wayne, what would we do? What should we create? Like, I'm here. Let's continue your work, and it's a phenomenal ability to be able to tune in and be sensitive enough to say, oh. And Wayne Dyer used to do this when he wrote his books. He would have a picture of Lao Tzu, who's this ancient Chinese philosopher who wrote the Tao Te Ching, and Wayne would connect him with Lao Tzu's energy, and he would channel Lao Tzu, and he would be like, okay, so what do you want me to tell everybody right now? There's so much magic in this world, Daniel. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I love the because I've done I haven't been doing it as much lately, but I'll probably start playing with it more again. But yeah, I used to do a lot of this sort of thing. I come up with all kinds of different energies and dialogue with them and all that stuff. And I just went through a period where I just go into the nothingness, like I just kind of went to that place, what's it like to be with nothing, more so like just let all that playing around, all that stuff go and see what that's like, right? And so like that was a whole nother school for me. And so, but what I like about that is, I've done the dialoguing and channeling and, all that sort of stuff, have them on my team, go get me this, go get me that, all this stuff. And it's fun. It's really cool. And what I love about what you were pointing to, for me anyway, what I got out of it was, if I don't always want to be doing all the dialoguing and all this extra work with it, I don't have to. I can just bring in some of the energy. I don't have to do all of these things. Because sometimes it's just like, because at the level of the mind is like, oh, let's make something happen. We'll do this. We'll bring this energy. And for me, that gets to be a little weird after a while. So it's like no, maybe less is more, right? And just going with less is more is more of a focus can also be good, I think. So because it's that deep, very subtle realm is where it has the deepest power. And I think the more we could connect with that, the more is possible. So, but I love this. I love this connecting with the energies that we're guided to connect with, and making a practice of bringing those energies in. That's really cool.
Yeah, one of the exercises I get my clients to do. So I take people through a 6-month mentorship program where we basically get them fully activated into their highest expression they're able to be. And it's so fun to peel away the layers and the layers and the layers. But one of the things we're just, again, not taught when we're young is how to sit in silence. You called it the void. I like to call it the sacred emptiness. And be still. And then you get to know your truth. We're so busy all the time. It's like, just make time. Everyone who's tuning in, put it in your diary, at least for the next 7 days, just 30 minutes of silence time. Grab a notepad and a pen, no phone, no computer, no distractions. Just grab your notepad and your pen, just be with yourself, just breathe, soften, relax, and just see who you are. And everything changes. And I have a meditation which teaches you how to tap into this quantum realm, this quantum field, and how to access this infinite source of wisdom and this infinite source of energy. And I'm super happy to gift it. Daniel was asking me if I had a gift for everyone. So super happy to gift it to everybody who would like it. Daniel will pop the link for you all as well. If you would like me to guide you with how to connect into these, you called it the subtle realms, I call it the realm of infinite possibilities. And if anyone's seen the Matrix movie, I talk about it a lot because I believe it's more like a documentary than a movie. And it's like there's this room they take you to, this white room, where you can upload then anything you want. And I actually do that. I have a white room meditation I take my clients into. And we go and in that place, anything is possible. And when we're children, we're often deterred in the current way our society works from playing in the daydreaming space, the imagination realms. But this is what I'm now teaching people to unlearn. Like, spend time, just 30 minutes a day in silence, just play, see what's real, see what wants to come through, and open yourself to the magic, because there's so many great ideas and options. And every single one of you who's listening here today, I'd love to give you this paradigm shift if you're open to it. If you're open to it, just take a nice deep breath in and out. So if you are able to listen to this right now, if you have a device to listen to this on, if you have the internet, and if you have the time, space, and freedom to be able to even receive this wisdom, you are one of the freest beings on the planet. You literally have infinite possibilities available to you. Every single day when you open your eyes, you get to choose what you create that day. And maybe there's some parts of your life right now where you're absolutely thriving and you love it and it lights you up. And maybe there are some places where you're showing up not in your fullest authenticity and truth. So my invitation to all of you is find someone, could be yourself, could be a guide, could be a mentor, could be me, could be Daniel. Find someone, find a system, find some support. Make a plan for how you can live your optimal life, because only you can change your life. Nobody's going to come and change it for you. You could decide right now, decide to cut off all of the possibilities. That's what I make decide mean. You could decide that this next chapter of your life is going to be phenomenal. I like to think about living an exceptional life. I just made a post today on my social media channels. If you'd like to live an exceptional life, you need to show up in an exceptional way. Now, that's not from a place of pressure. I believe every single one of you listening in here already is exceptional. You're probably the odd one out in your family. You're probably the most conscious person in most rooms that you go to. And so go to different rooms, right? Go find the other conscious people. Go play with the soul tribe, with the people who get it. I call them the ones with the sparkly eyes, the ones with the open hearts and the open minds. Like, go find your people. And if this is getting you excited, if you're feeling this, come join our Q-RIT tribe. We'd love to welcome you. Everybody's into this stuff that we're talking about. And yeah, we've got a project at the moment, Daniel. We've bought some land in Mexico. We're building an actual community where we can live. One of my friends has done the same in Costa Rica, and I was just speaking with him the other day. He's just bought another 50 acres of land in Costa Rica. He's looking for people to come and live in community. And how incredible this can be if we can build these communities all over the world where we can actually physically live together. This is what I've been teaching now. I run seminars and teach people how to live in communities and grow their own food and heal themselves without hospitals. And it's just such a wonderful time to be alive. The only thing stopping you, whoever's listening in right now, the only thing stopping you from living your dream life is you and the beliefs that you have and the actions that you're taking. So get a great support system, find the people who've already done it, ask them to show you how. And you can find them online or in person. There's so many of us out there. And if all of us can thrive, this world's going to change so fast.
Absolutely. Amen. So go ahead, and I just want to reiterate that you guys can take advantage of the great energy you've been feeling here, in part through this free meditation that he's offering. So there will be a link in the show notes right here, or you can go to my blog at yoursacredpurpose.com/blog. Either way, though, you can get this free meditation. He says that they'll give you more energy than a double espresso, right? I've downloaded it or whatever. I've got it ready to play. I haven't played it yet, but I know it's going to be amazing. You can feel his great energy, right? And this is what he's bringing. So get the free meditation. It teaches you how to access the quantum state to unlock your unlimited energy, not, the matrix energy of, you better do this, that'll get you that. And no, it's not like that. It's like you're going into that unlimited space. So take advantage of this free meditation. Costs you nothing. You sit down, and it's a brief meditation. It doesn't take too long, and it's going to take you to next level. So take advantage of free meditation through the link here in the show notes or at my blog. Like I said, at yoursacredpurpose.com. Go to my blog there and check it out. So
yeah, I used to drink 6 cups of coffee a day, Daniel. That was what I needed to get through the day. Working in corporate, I used to get home and my hands were shaking from all the caffeine, and that was what we were doing because we were crazy, right? And we're not taught how to tap into this energy that's all around us. It's an infinite source of energy. So now I teach people to use their breath, to use their body, to use the quantum field, and I have not had coffee in a long time. Just don't need it. So yeah, come do the double espresso meditation if that gets you excited, and give your body a rest, give your adrenal system a rest. Like don't have to drink all of this crazy stuff just to get through the day.
That's crazy. So so great, awesome stuff. So we're at the point of the show where we're doing my energy scanning downloads for the guests. Luke, you've already experienced some of my work already, but I'd love to give you 3 downloads today. You ready to receive?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Let's see what comes through today. And listen in, everybody, because again, there'll be something here for you. Something is here for you too. We're all one. So I'm getting this message was around a thief, you know, that you've got this ability to crack the code no matter how strongly they've fortified those locks. You have you know how to, no, I could still pick that lock. I could still get in. I can still get into all those treasures. So you've got this brilliance to be able to see through the illusion that something's locked, that you can't unlock something. But I know it's easy. It's so easy. And you're able to open up those things. So that's my first download. We'll cover all 3 at the end if you like. So let's see what's the next one. Yeah, that master thief of those past lives is helpful to you. Okay, let's see what's next. Yeah, I mean, just in general, just this whole thing with mastery, you love to just keep mastering things. Like, I want to be a master of this. I want to learn. I want to learn. I want to do that. I want to get the highest level of this and that. So I just noticed that, like, just as I was saying that about being a master thief in a past life, I'm like, wow, you just love that. You just love to take things to the highest level. So that's a great thing for people to know about you too. Like, you've got that in you. And so I would ask the audience to relate this more to the audience. Where are you being called to go to a high level, but you keep saying, nah, not yet. I'm not ready. I'll do it in the future. There is no future, guys. It doesn't exist. It's a myth. It's a legend. It's a concept. There's no true future because it's always now. So you have to just say yes now, because eventually you will. There'll be a now moment where you say yes. Don't keep putting it down because it'll never happen. It's always now. So what are you being asked to step into mastery in right now? Okay, let's see. What's next for Luke? Yeah, it's almost like you're training people to become, you may even turn into a breatharian. Who knows? I got picked up on some on that, but I get like this yogi kind of energy community that you're establishing, and it feels like multiple communities. I may have said this to you before in some of the other downloads before, but I just see people like wearing white. I'm not saying they wear white all day long all the time. I don't know, but I just see people wearing white coming together physically in places around the world. And like there's this big, the word yogi comes through. I don't know that that's the word you'll use, but like this idea, like we're part of this group and we're all over the place, and we're an example of what's possible for humanity, and and leading the way. So that's the 3rd download for today. So Luke, what reflections or downloads are you getting from my downloads?
When you said about the master thief, I got this idea that I'm a cat burglar of consciousness, sneaking into the museum and taking the artifacts that they've taken away from the people, and I'm bringing them back. And I like that. And in England, we have this story of Robin Hood, who was perceived as this person who took from the rich and gave to the poor, right? And he was made out to be this villain, but really he was a person for the people because he saw the corruption in the system. And so, yeah, I think there's something really beautiful about that. I like that idea that just can't be stopped. So I appreciated that. And then the mastery thing. So I've been running trainings now, running my events companies for 7 years. had a public speaking academy, so I teach people public speaking. And I got told a while ago I'm a teacher of teachers. I'm a trainer of trainers. It's like being this master teacher and helping those people who are already great teachers, who are already on the path, just refining them so they can get to the level of mastery, like you said. And yeah, the breatharian thing's interesting. I do class myself as being on the breatharian path. I think that once we become light enough, and this was the main thing I learned at the breatharian workshop. He said, you don't need to starve yourself. You don't need to do anything like that. He said, you just have to find and tap into another energy source. So when you can fill your battery with this energy from the earth, this prana, this sunlight, you just stop eating. You don't need to eat as much because you're already full. And he said, eventually I just kept meditating, breathing in the light, breathing in the energy. And then my appetite just went and went and went. And now I don't need to eat anything. And I'm like, yes, that's a really good way to think about it, because you're not giving up anything. You're just finding an alternative power source. So yeah, you tapped me back into that as well. This idea that we all just have to learn how to use this energy that is all around us, and then we won't need to rely on the energy from food so much.
Nice. So thanks for sharing all that. That's awesome. So guys, this is an amazing person, amazing leader of leaders, teacher of teachers, all that good stuff. And he's just fun. I mean, just if we even strip out all those ideas, he's just fun, right? He peps you up. He gets you inspired. He has you have a new energy. And new energy creates everything. So you want to be with Luke. Take advantage of that free meditation. Get it now. Just have some fun with it. Now's always the time, right? To have fun. Okay, so the next thing I'll just say, if you want to check out some of my cool stuff too, just go to yoursacredpurpose.com. I got a free make money meditation, turns on energy of abundance and money, and get some downloads for the day. I got my download for some big stuff I'm going to be doing the next year from that meditation. That's where it comes from. It comes from for Luke. It comes for every single person that does big stuff. It comes as a download every single time, one way or another. I teach you 4 ways to meditate and make money. Take advantage of that gift at yoursacredpurpose.com. Of course, I do energy consultation and all that sort of stuff. You can find that on my website as well to help you rock your sales and get to the highest potential you have in your mission in the world of service and your gifts, and then allowing yourself to enjoy, the opportunity to serve at that highest level. That includes sales, right? So to help you lean into that. So check that out at yoursacredpurpose.com. All right, so Luke, we're about to wrap up. I know you've got some last words, I'm sure, for the audience. So any last words of wisdom for the audience?
Yes, absolutely. So when I met you, Daniel, it was a really nice feeling and experience because we have a lot of things in common. And when people dare to be themselves, and I say dare because most people don't. Most people are scared to be themselves. When you dare to be yourself, when you dare to shine, the other shiny people are magnetized to you. And again, it's one of those traps that most of us have been brought into in our upbringing, is we've been made to be like everybody else. And just, if I can give you anything to go and take away from this, find out who you truly are. Find out what is truly important to you, and then shine that from your heart like a beacon, like a lighthouse, like a sun, and everything will change. You will just light up the world everywhere that you go. And that might not be the easiest process. You might have to go in and clean out some things that you don't want to look at, that you've stuffed under the rug, things that were challenging in your childhood or in your ancestral line. This is why we call it quantum regression. And there are so many different tools that you can use to do it. I had an amazing energy healing, clear energy reading and session with Daniel. So he's got magic if you want to go and experience his stuff, or if you feel like coming and learning our Q-RIT modality, it's just 8 hours, come and learn it. And the easiest way I can explain this to everybody is, and this was one of my teachers who shared this idea with me, and it was like, yes, that's perfect, is if you have ever looked at a hot air balloon before, and you have the basket and the balloon, And to make it go higher, you pull a rope and more fire goes up. It makes it hotter and it rises. So I see most people doing, they're hustling and grinding. They're trying to get more and more fire, more and more fire. But they've got so much weight on the basket, sandbags, and some people still even have the ropes tying them to the floor, Daniel. And they're trying to go higher and higher and higher. And it's like, just cut the ropes. Let go of the sandbags, let go of the stories, let go of the baggage, and become more of who you are. And it's like a cork that you hold down under the water. When you let the cork go, it just rises. So there's not a lot more you need to do, everyone. You don't have to go and do a lot of doings. Just stop resisting, stop paddling upstream, let go of the cork, stop holding on to all of these things that don't serve you. If you need to find someone to help, if that's me or Daniel, we would love to support you. That's our dedication of our life at the moment, to uplift humanity, raise the consciousness, help all our brothers and sisters. So if you do feel like playing more, grab the meditation, come join our Q-RIT tribe. It'd be an absolute pleasure to play with you. And you can have the most incredible next chapter of your life. I wish that for you. I will that for you. If you would love that too, you have to do the doings. I can't do that for you.
Right, exactly, right. Can't take the step for them, right? But they're invited in. Come on in. The water is really good.
Yeah, hold the arms open for a big hug, but you have to come. You have to come.
Exactly. All right. Thanks for sharing so much, Luke. It's been such an amazing, awesome, quantum pleasure having you on the show. I really, really enjoyed it so much. So thank you for being on today.
It's my absolute pleasure.
And thank you for all our listeners. Keep on tuning in. We'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till next time. The Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.